All right, class, we're back with part two. I had to take a quick intermission, right? So, we're dealing with a lot of what do we stop at? Danger, motherhood, ability to sell, rent, and traffic children. And they're also sending these children overseas. Well, they were, and what they were sending them overseas. And I do not in no way excuse behavior where you say, this happened to me as a child. I don't care. You don't harm other people because something happened to you as a child. I don't take that as a legal excuse, if anything, right? Your excuse has got to be legal, right? So, and I've also been hearing in the streets that they watch a lot of porno. So this situation here is over sex. Yeah, it's over sexualized. They over sexualize everything. They over sexualize, because I've seen this on TV. They're over sexualizing cartoons, like old school cartoons. They're over sexualizing. Like as a child, I never even thought that about a particular cartoon. Right, never paid it no attention because that's not so. Right, they made it so. Right, it's like, this is ridiculous. I never thought that as a child. That is a 1980s cartoon. I never thought that, and that's why children are too grown, because you're over sexualizing cartoons where they're, and even as an adult, that still wasn't sexual, but they wanted to make it sexual, right? So they made a comment on it on YouTube, of course, right? So they're over sexualizing everything. So, right, porno is a big thing. Pornography is a big thing. And of course, child pornography, right? I heard that child pornography, they're being over, they're overindulged, they're being overfed, right? Overfed child porn. And that's what's desensitizing them to pedophilia. Yeah, desensitization to pedophilia. And that's why we saw that so heavy in 2020. Like, they've calmed down with that in 2021, but in 2020, these people lost their minds when it came to wanting to sex babies, wanting to imitate babies to be sexed. Right. So, and it increased the urge to be a pedophile, right? Because grown women were running around portraying themselves as little kids, little girls, babies. And that increased the desire for pedophilia. Men with twisted minds already, right? You have to have a semi-twisted mind already, yeah, and desire young girls as it is, right? To look at a grown woman running around like a child, and right. Subliminally, they were putting in these men's mind that you should want a little girl, right? And some of them who already had that twisted mindset did go after the little girls, right? So all these grown women that were running around with pigtails and stuff last year and acting like little girls, men who were already twisted in their mind went out and started messing with little girls, touching little girls, snatching little girls, stealing little girls, right? So they were putting that into these men's mind. Hey, go get you a little girl. And they weren't paying these grown women any attention. They were running out getting 16-year-olds, 13-year-olds, and under, right? They weren't paying these grown women any attention whatsoever, right? All they were doing was increasing the lust for children, right? I mean, they were getting spray painted up and makeup up to look a lot younger than they were. So the men were like, I'm feeling the grown woman's pheromone, but I'm seeing a child's face, right? So if I'm already twisted, I'm running out. They ran out and got them children, right? Even if they were 16 years old, right? That's a child. When you're 30, 40 years old. The law say 18. So therefore, that's a child. If you're even 21, right? So you have to have parents' permission, right? So it's just been a lot of unsavory stuff taking place. There's been a lot of unsavory stuff taking place because of that pigtail stuff and that little girl mentality that they've been running around with since 2020. And they're calling it genuine intimacy. Not even. That's not even what's happening. So that's not even what's happening. And that's where the mind switch has taken place. We were just talking about that. Those people who already have some type of mental instability, they have that turn, that switch, and then that's when they run out and do that highly inappropriate stuff. Right? People don't understand that. And there's drugs involved as well. Drugs are always involved in situations like these. Because you can't, I mean you can, but most of them from what we've seen, there's drugs and alcohol involved in being able to deal with small children when you're an adult. It's not necessarily linked to anything that happened to you as a kid. It's just, for some, that's what they just say they're attracted to. Right. So 2020 helped a lot of pedophiles indulge in their fantasy. It really did, because of the way these grown women were running around as children. So let's just say a lot of the attitudes that was taking place, a lot of the conversations that were taking place, a lot of people were making a lot of money off of children, right? They were making a lot of money off of children last year. Since 2019, I made, the government aware that that's what they were doing with these children. They were renting their children first to girls who didn't have kids, so while they were recording their videos or whatever, that's my kid, blah blah blah, right? So they were exchanging children. Then it became selling children, right? They involved men, they involved guys into their hustle, and you're selling kids, right? And it became a whole sex trafficking, child sex trafficking thing. And I definitely made the government aware. 66 children, I believe, were found, but a lot of them weren't. There was a lot more that weren't, and there was a lot more that will not be found because they're no longer living. 2020 allowed a lot of murders to take place with children. I'm going to say it again if I didn't say it the last time. So excusez-moi. So when there is a lot of chaos, please understand there is a lot of underlying things taking place. Because I told you, During those riots, there were a lot of rapes taking place within those crowds. There were rapes taking place within those crowds during the riot of grown women. Right. So, can you just imagine what was taking place while all these grown women are out rioting and their children are known to be left at home alone? Right. Overnight. Right. Sex crimes were rampant. Right. Sex crimes were rampant in 2020. And they won't put the statistics out because they want you to stay focused on COVID. They want you to stay focused on unnecessary people. Right. They want you to stay focused on anything other than they had a lot of sinister stuff planned for America. In 2020 was supposed to, the rioting of 2020 was supposed to cover it up, and it did not. It didn't cover anything up. Everything the government did has been exposed. Everything that certain groups wanted to accomplish didn't take place, but the fact that they wanted to do these sinister things has been exposed. So America itself in every realm has been exposed. But with that exposure comes the reality of, while you guys were doing all this, while you thought it was cool and funny to do this, this is what was going on with your children when you weren't around. Exactly. These children, some of these children are still at home, but not telling you that they were assaulted sexually while you were out rioting. They just don't deal with you. It depends on the age of the child as well. You could have had a 13-year-old who was sexually assaulted while you were out rioting by someone you know, and they just don't tell you, right? They just don't deal with you anymore. And you're like, oh, it's just because of the changes, with COVID and all this rioting and all this stuff that's going on. No, your child was raped by one of your exes, and you don't know, right? And they don't want to tell you, right? So, yeah, addictions to frivolous nonsense. That's what's taking place. Addictions to frivolous nonsense. And it's not going to stop because people are chasing what? They're chasing any and everything. They have no focus. They're chasing any and everything. Their focus is money. Money is always the focus. Money is the root to evil when you are an evil person, right? Money is a root to evil when you are an evil person. Good people do good with money. Evil people do a little good and then the rest evil, right? If they do a little good, it's because they're trying to get karma, get a blessing from doing good. If I give, I'm going to get back. Not when your intentions are not correct, right? You don't get, when you give with the intention of receiving, you don't get nothing back, right? No, I mean, you should say, there is a godly expectancy of receiving something back. There's a law of reciprocity when you do give. So you understand, yeah, I'll get something back in some kind of way. But to say, I'm going to give $100 so I can get $500, no, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, being overfed, the child porn, becoming desensitized to pedophilia is why these children are out here being bought, sold, rented, and hurt. We have to begin to understand that when you have a child, you as the parent are responsible of that child solely. And then your community should be helping you, but not financially and not continuously. When I say your community should be helping you, if I see your child doing something, I should be able to say, hey, don't do that. I know you was raised better than that. Right. So with that being said, this is about to stop. I'm not sure if I want to do a part 3, but we have fun class. Right. I'm going to take a break.